Hey guys, you're watching Boondocking with Dennis. I'm in Rockport, Texas right now. I'm heading to Port Aransas, Texas. Today's our last sunny day for a while. There's all kinds of storms brewing out in the Gulf, which seems fitting, as it was 4 years ago today that Hurricane Harvey decided to make landfall, and it went through Port Aransas, Texas, and Rockport, Texas, as well as the surrounding communities for miles and miles and miles. And from Rockport to Corpus, took down every single telephone pole. Homes were lost. People were left without a home. People were left without a job. And we immediately began rebuilding. So when I talk about the reasons that I decided to live in my truck, and I had talked about this 7 years, 8 years before I even moved full-time into my truck. If you're new, I've been living in my truck for 2 years and 7 months. A reason that I often fail to say is Hurricane Harvey. I never want that feeling again of having to come back to devastation, to come back to... You had to see it to believe it, folks. If anyone has video, it doesn't do it justice. The day Hurricane Harvey hit, August 25th, 2017, I got up and went to work. I knew a storm was coming. At that time, I didn't know how bad it was. Once I got to work, I was told we were evacuating. And I believe we evacuated on, it was early in the morning of, now I don't remember if it was the 24th or 25th, but I went to work, and, excuse me a second, guys. I went to work. They made the decision that we're going to evacuate. I packed up my truck with the work computer, the most important files, all our current files, banking, all that vital stuff. Boxed it up, taped everything shut, got it in the back of my truck, the back seat of my truck. I had a F-150, then a white one. I think that was a 2007. Went back to Portland, Texas, where I had an apartment at a nice 2-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Grabbed clothes. Didn't grab anything important because there wasn't time. I had a very nice knife collection, and you collect stuff over the years. You have stuff, important pictures. I didn't grab any of that. Got in the car, hit traffic all the way up to San Antonio. Stop and go traffic. They had the shoulder open. They open up the shoulders when the hurricane evacuations are called for, and at certain points they'll even open up both lanes of the highway. I-37 is mostly a 2-lane highway with a shoulder both ways. They'll open up both sides of the highway and make everything going one way. But there was still, when I evacuated, it was just the northbound lane. Lots of just heavy traffic. And we went to the JW Marriott north of San Antonio, a very nice resort. And we had a good time that night, tried to keep our mind off of it. When nightfall came and the hurricane was not even hitting Rockport yet, the winds up in San Antonio, which is 175 miles away, that resort must be, or 180 from Rockport. The outside chandeliers were swinging. It's one of those fancy resorts with its own water park and hot tubs and, jacuzzis and all that kind of stuff. Outdoor fire pits. They had to shut that down. And it was a raging storm up there while the hurricane was going on. I was trying to get news off of local news and Facebook. Oddly enough, it affected Corpus Christi, but Corpus Christi is 25 miles south of Rockport. They certainly got bad weather, but they didn't get what Rockport and Port Aransas got. That was, ground zero. Some friends had stayed. We didn't know. We couldn't contact anyone. We didn't know if our friends were alive or dead. I believe in our area there was actually only one death, which is just amazing. But we packed up early the next day, brought supplies back to Rockport, water generators, all that kind of stuff. I stopped at my apartment first, and our carports outside the apartment, which were aluminum, they were just all bent and twisted, yet not a window was broken, at least in my apartment. As far as I know, there was no damage to my apartment complex other than loss of water, loss of electricity, cable internet, and the carports. So I was really fortunate. I checked on my buddy Mark. You guys know Mark. He's been in a few of my videos. He had stayed overnight at the police station because he's in communications. And it was reported at one point that the police station was lost during the hurricane. So I have a few acquaintances that are policemen, and I thought they were all dead. I couldn't get anyone on the phone. That they had no signal. And finally, later in that day, Mark was able to get on Facebook just to say he was okay. There's the crack, guys. So my apartment was okay. I just checked on everything real quick. Mark's house was okay, but he had a lot of fallen trees and stuff. He couldn't get to his house. So Mark and his kids, we made plans for them to come stay at my house. Different friends came and stayed if their house was damaged. That day I drove to Rockport after checking on my house, my place. And just getting to Rockport, there were still telephone pole lines down, wires still on the road. I got off 35, Highway 35, and I took a back road to get to Rockport, and that was dodging farm equipment and cars and trailers blown over and dead livestock. A lot of cows, a lot of dead cows, and dead goats I remember seeing that were, struck with debris and killed. A lot of farmers walking around gathering their livestock. That one trailer park, Paradise Lagoons, that I just showed on video, trailers there were stacked 3 and 4 high. The people that couldn't get their trailers out and left, so much damage there. And Mark and his kids and a friend of his, also in communications, stayed at my house right away. Later on, we had some other people coming. We got water, I think, after 3 days back in Portland. And that was huge because we could, you couldn't drink the water yet, but you could at least bathe in it, And we were able to take showers, and people were coming from Rockport just to use my showers because they're working all day trying to help people and dig people out, and no place to even bathe, The driving through Rockport like a back street a few days later, once they got the streets cleared, it was like being at the bottom of the canyon. There was so much debris on both sides of the road, and I didn't take any video or pictures until about a month after. I just couldn't do it. Like, it really changed me, I think it changed everyone, or at least affected them greatly. I think anyone involved in that, you kind of get a little bit of that shell shock, So I think on day 5 I got power back, and once I got power back, I think the next day we got cable and Wi-Fi back. Once we got the power back, my apartment was like a bunkhouse. There were so many people there just because we had power. We had air conditioning. We had washer and dryer that worked. I had a refrigerator, I had a stove. Things a lot of people in Rockport didn't get for weeks, and some of them months before they got their power back. So I had people coming and going. Alexis and her son Williams, my friends from that channel, That Girl Travels, they came and stayed with me because they lost their home. They were living in a nice apartment. So many apartment complexes in Aransas Pass, Rockport, and Ingleside were just devastated. They weren't safe to live in anymore. So a lot of people got the FEMA vouchers for hotel rooms, but I mean, you had to go to San Antonio, Austin, just to find a motel room that had a space, because the ones here were just ripped up. Yeah. So people would come over and just like stare at the TV because no one had seen TV in weeks. No one had been able to watch the news in the week. They could come to my place for air conditioning, and I know how they feel. I've been living in my truck for 2 years and 7 months. When I go by the TV section of Walmart, I will stop for 30 seconds and watch the demo mode they have going on. But there's parts of all these towns that I've mentioned that you can go to, and it looks like the hurricane just happened yesterday. There's empty lots where the debris has been removed, but there are just leveled homes where the debris has not been removed yet. So with these storms out in the Gulf right now, if there's anything ugly, even a hint of something coming, I'm gone. And I sent my friends messages today reminding them to keep their cars gassed up, put some food and water in their truck. You can see it's actually raining up there. You see where the rain's coming down? That's pretty neat. But I think I'm going to go over here today to Port Aransas and do my usual videos from over here and then spread them out. So if you see in my video that it's a sunny day in Port Aransas, 15-minute wait, that's cool. If it's pour raining here, that's because I filmed everything today. And today is, I believe, Wednesday, August 25th. I encourage anyone, if we're getting any type of bad weather, anything, any type of hurricane possible, do not remain in your homes, because your home is the best and it's built solid and you'll be okay. If something happens, you're risking other people's lives that have to come to you now. You know, you could have a medical emergency while you're safe in your new home, in your indestructible home. Just leave. Make plans now. Have an escape plan right now. If the weather changes bad, here's what we're going to do. Put water and food in your car. Have it there. You're ready to go. Have a little go bag with your important documents and prescriptions, anything like that. Contact information you might need. Anything that's super important to you. Physical things can be replaced. One thing I did was any type of an important picture or art piece that I had, and I had a lot, I took photos and put them on Instagram and Facebook. And if something does happen, at least I'll have that to look back, on. Me and the Russian intelligence agents can enjoy my photos. But I think that's enough of me rambling, guys. You probably get a ferry video out of this, and by ferry I mean that little ship that crosses the channel. So if you thought you were going to see actual ferries, little woodland creatures, yeah, I'm sorry, that was completely clickbait. But I appreciate you guys, and thanks for listening to my ramble this morning. And I'll post that tonight. Hurricane Harvey, guys. Stay safe, be smart. Thanks for watching.